The anomaly first appeared on a Tuesday. Dr. Elena Zhao had been reviewing routine data streams from the Alpha Centauri monitoring station when her algorithms flagged something unprecedented. The signal pulsed with mathematical precision, not the chaotic emissions of stellar phenomena, but the ordered cadence of intentional communication. "Run it again," she instructed her team at the Global Space Observatory. The massive array of radio telescopes spanning Earth's southern hemisphere had never detected anything so unambiguously artificial. Her hands trembled slightly as she adjusted her neural interface, the holographic data swimming before her tired eyes. 3 days without sleep followed. The world's greatest minds in xenolinguistics and mathematics converged virtually in Elena's lab, dissecting the signal layer by layer. What they found defied conventional understanding. The message utilized prime number sequences as mere punctuation for a vastly more complex symbolic language. "It's like they're speaking in conceptual math," Elena explained to the hastily assembled UN Security Council. "The signal contains embedded quantum patterns that self-reference, creating meaning through structural resonance rather than linear vocabulary." She didn't mention her growing unease as the translation crystallized. The signal originated not from Alpha Centauri itself, but from something moving toward Earth from that direction. Something massive. Something ancient. The images from deep space observatories confirmed multiple objects decelerating, artificial structures larger than Earth's moon. Elena's team finally cracked the core message on the 4th day. The holographic translation matrix hovered in the center of the Situation Room, casting eerie blue light across the faces of military and political leaders from every continent. "It's a warning," Elena said, her voice steady despite the implications. "No, more precisely, it's an ultimatum." The message was from something calling itself the Coalition of Ordered Species, a galactic organization claiming governance over 12,000 star systems. Their declaration was coldly mathematical in its assessment. Humanity represented an unacceptable anomaly in cosmic development patterns. Our technological advancement curve exceeded safe parameters. Our behavioral unpredictability registered as a critical threat metric. They classified us as an extinction-level innovator species, Elena continued, scrolling through the translated text. Apparently, that's their designation for civilizations that develop technologies faster than the ethical frameworks to control them. Admiral Thomas Reyes, the weathered commander of Earth's Unified Defense Forces, leaned forward. "What exactly are they demanding?" "Containment or extinction," Elena replied. "They're offering to establish a quarantine field around our solar system that would prevent further human expansion while allowing our civilization to continue within those boundaries. If we refuse..." The room fell silent as the implications became clear. "How long do we have?" asked the Secretary General, her face ashen. "The message specifies 1 planetary rotation from the moment of complete translation," Elena said. 24 hours to decide the fate of humanity." Outside the reinforced windows of the UN complex, life continued in blissful ignorance. Citizens of New York moved through their day unaware that among the stars, judgment had already been passed. Earth had been mourned. Now humanity needed an answer. Geneva ignited with activity as world leaders converged on the emergency summit. News of the ultimatum had broken worldwide, triggering responses ranging from religious fervor to scientific skepticism. Markets crashed. Military installations went to maximum readiness. Citizen militias formed spontaneously in major cities, despite having no conceivable defense against the threat. Inside the fortified conference center, Admiral Thomas Reyes watched the clock. 22 hours remaining. "Containment is tantamount to extinction on a longer timeline," he argued, pacing before the assembled leadership. "We accept their terms now. We surrender humanity's future to eternal imprisonment." The Chinese premier leaned forward. "And your alternative, Admiral?" "Our combined military might is meaningless against a civilization capable of crossing interstellar space. They've had technologies we cannot imagine for thousands of years." "Which is precisely why military auctions aren't on the table," Rice replied. But neither is surrender. Dr. Zhao entered the chamber, dark circles under her eyes testament to her continuous work. Her neural interface projected data as she moved, leaving trails of equations hovering in the air. "I found something," she announced without preamble. "Inconsistencies in their mathematical syntax. The coalition isn't as unified as they want us to believe." She gestured, expanding the holographic display. "Their message contains multiple linguistic markers, at least 8 distinct communication patterns overlaid into one transmission. Some patterns appear significantly older than others. I believe we're dealing with multiple species with varying opinions on Earth." "How does this help us?" asked the Brazilian president. "It means they're not a monolith," Reis interjected, understanding immediately. "Where there's division, there's opportunity." Dr. Zhao nodded. "More importantly, I've analyzed their threat assessment parameters. They don't fear our weapons. They fear our adaptability. Their models show our development curve is wildly unpredictable compared to other intelligent species." The Russian president laughed darkly. "They're afraid because we're too creative." "Essentially, yes," Zhao confirmed. "Their civilization appears to value order and predictability above all. Human innovation follows patterns they cannot model, and what they cannot predict, they perceive as dangerous." The room fell silent as implications crystallized. Former adversaries exchanged glances, decades of geopolitical tensions suddenly insignificant against cosmic judgment. "Then we show them exactly what they fear," Reis said firmly. "Not as individual nations, but as humanity united." Across the planet, unprecedented cooperation erupted. Chinese quantum physicists shared breakthroughs with American engineers. Russian cosmologists collaborated with Saudi astronomers. Indian programmers wrote code alongside Brazilian mathematicians. Historical enemies pooled resources and knowledge, forming a global intellectual collective unlike anything in human history. In a subterranean facility beneath the Alps, Dr. Zhao coordinated the unified scientific response, directing humanity's brightest minds toward a singular purpose. Her algorithms worked through countless simulations, seeking leverage against a technologically superior foe. "We've identified a promising approach," she informed the war room 18 hours later. "It's unorthodox, but theoretically sound." "Unorthodox is what they fear most," Reis replied, studying the proposal. "Begin implementation immediately." As the deadline approached, humanity prepared its answer. Not with resigned acceptance or futile aggression, but with the unpredictable innovation that defined their species. Project Lighthouse was about to illuminate the stars. 17 hours remained before the coalition's deadline. Project Lighthouse activated simultaneously across 6 continents, a global initiative unlike anything humanity had attempted before. Its true nature remained intentionally fragmented. No single person understood the entire plan, a deliberate chaos designed to appear unpredictable to alien observers. In Tokyo, Dr. Himiko Tanaka led a team of quantum physicists working with experimental probability fields. Their laboratory hummed with energy as they manipulated subatomic particles into configurations derived from the coalition's own communication patterns. "The shield matrix is responding," Himiko announced, her eyes fixed on fluctuating holographic displays. "Their mathematical language creates exploitable resonance patterns, almost like we're speaking their technology's native tongue." Half a world away in Nairobi, engineer Kofi Okafor directed the rapid conversion of the Pan-African Space Agency's satellite network. Hundreds of orbital platforms, originally designed for climate monitoring and communications, underwent radical repurposing. "Begin distributed computation protocols," he commanded. His team worked with feverish intensity, uploading new programming that linked each satellite into an emergent network that appeared random to outside observation, but followed precise mathematical patterns understood only by humans. "The beauty of human technology," Kofi explained to observers, "is that we build adaptability into everything. Our systems aren't optimized for a single purpose. They can become something entirely different when necessary." In a subterranean laboratory beneath Rio de Janeiro, Dr. Isabella Varga supervised the final stages of perhaps the most audacious component of Project Lighthouse. Her team had created organic synthetic interfaces, living computational systems that adapted unpredictably to external stimuli. Coalition technology appears entirely logical, she reported during the global coordination briefing. Our biosynthetic systems introduce intentional irrationality, decisions based on human emotional algorithms they can't possibly anticipate. Admiral Reyes moved between command centers, coordinating the global effort while maintaining strategic opacity. Each team received only the information necessary for their specific task, creating a defense that emerged from collective action rather than centralized control. This approach leverages our greatest strength, he explained to President Chen of China. The coalition fears our unpredictability, so we're giving them exactly that. A system so distributed that even we can't fully predict its behavior. Dr. Zhao led the integration team from Geneva, synthesizing progress reports while continuing to analyze the coalition's message for additional insights. Her neural interface projected dizzying arrays of data, component readiness indicators overlaid with probability models and response simulations. 13 hours to completion, she announced. Partial deployment capabilities in 6. Across Earth, ordinary citizens contributed to the effort, often unknowingly. Millions of personal devices were subtly co-opted, their distributed processing power harnessed in short bursts that appeared random but served the greater design. Home entertainment systems, transportation networks, even children's toys became fractional components in humanity's answer. Small sacrifices multiplied. Power grids strained under unprecedented demands. Global communication slowed as bandwidth diverted to classified channels, yet panic subsided as word spread that humanity had found a path forward, neither surrender nor hopeless resistance, but something uniquely human. As the deadline approached, Dr. Zhao made a final inspection of the worldwide system. Project Lighthouse wasn't merely a defensive technology. It was humanity's philosophy rendered into action, a demonstration of cooperation without uniformity, strength without aggression. The warning had been delivered. Earth's answer stood ready. The coalition arrived precisely at the deadline. Their vessels appeared without warning, enormous crystalline structures that defied conventional physics, emerging simultaneously in low Earth orbit around key population centers. The largest hung above Geneva, its faceted surface refracting sunlight into prismatic patterns across the cityscape below. Earth's militaries tracked 12 major vessels, each larger than any human structure ever built. Admiral Reyes stood on the roof of the United Nations complex, watching the alien armada with calculated calm. Behind him, Project Lighthouse components remained dormant but ready, awaiting his command. Activation on standby, his neural interface reported. All systems nominal. A beam of coherent light emerged from the largest vessel, stretching to the ground before the UN building. Within it, matter coalesced into a humanoid form, a being composed of light and mathematical equations in constant flux, its body a three-dimensional representation of complex multidimensional algorithms. The beam's voice resonated not in air, but directly in the minds of all present. Representatives of Sol 3, it began, using the Coalition's designation for Earth. I am Nexus Paradigm, emissary of the Coalition of Ordered Species. Your translation of our message indicates comprehension. What is your response? Dr. Zhao stepped forward, neural interface displaying real-time analysis of the being's communications. We recognize your concerns, she replied carefully, but request clarification. On what basis has humanity been classified as an extinction-level innovator? The light being's patterns shifted, conveying what might have been surprise at the question. Your species advances technologies at rates exceeding all predictive models, Nexus Paradigm explained. You developed atomic energy merely decades after discovering electromagnetic radiation. You created rudimentary artificial intelligence less than a century after simple calculating machines. Every simulation predicts your civilization will develop destabilizing technologies within decades that required other species millennia to safely implement. A murmur ran through the assembled human representatives. Dr. Zhao exchanged glances with Admiral Reyes, confirming their theory. And this rate of change is unique, Reyes asked. Unprecedented, the emissary acknowledged. All other technological species follow predictable development patterns. Your chaotic innovation renders you fundamentally dangerous to galactic stability. So your concern isn't our aggression, Reyes clarified, but our unpredictability. The being's light patterns pulsed in what translator algorithms interpreted as affirmation. Your ethics evolved slower than your technologies. This imbalance has destroyed 17 prior civilizations across our monitored sectors. Containment is the merciful alternative to your inevitable self-destruction or imposed extinction. Admiral Reyes straightened, his weathered face resolute. Emissary Nexus Paradigm. I am authorized to deliver Earth's answer. The assembled coalition vessels shifted position slightly, energy readings spiking as defensive systems prepared for potential human aggression. Military satellites detected weapons charging, planet-killing capabilities beyond humanity's comprehension. We reject both containment and conflict, Reyes stated firmly. Instead, we offer a third option, a demonstration. The emissary's light pattern flickered in what translators identified as confusion. Demonstration of what purpose? Reyes smiled slightly. A demonstration of precisely what you fear, the unpredictable innovation that defines humanity. He activated his neural interface, sending the execution code to Project Lighthouse. You've given us warnings, Reyes concluded. Now witness humanity's answer. Project Lighthouse activated with sudden, synchronized grace. Across Earth, seemingly unrelated systems shifted purpose. Weather satellites rotated new antennae toward coalition vessels. Power grids pulsed in mathematical sequences mimicking the aliens' own communication patterns. Billions of personal devices simultaneously processed fragments of code, forming a planetary computational mesh undetectable until its activation. The first signs appeared in Geneva as the air around the alien emissary shimmered with interference patterns. Nexus Paradigm's light form fluctuated, algorithms struggling to maintain coherence. What is this? The being demanded, its mental voice fragmented. Dr. Zhao stepped forward, neural interface displaying streams of real-time data. This is humanity's response, not aggression, but adaptation. In orbit, coalition vessels found their advanced sensors flooded with contradictory information. Earth's primitive technology suddenly behaved in ways their models couldn't predict, not because it was more advanced, but because it operated on principles they had never considered. Dr. Tanaka's quantum shields in Tokyo generated probability fields that made tracking Earth's defense systems mathematically impossible. Engineer Okafor's satellite network created a distributed intelligence that constantly reconfigured itself, becoming a new system every microsecond. Dr. Varga's biosynthetic interfaces introduced emotional algorithms that made logical prediction futile. Nexus Paradigm's form stabilized partially as its systems adjusted. This is precisely why your species poses such danger. You create without comprehending consequences. No, Admiral Reyes countered firmly. We comprehend perfectly, but we accept uncertainty as fundamental to existence. Your coalition seeks perfect order in a universe that thrives on chaos. Dr. Zhao accessed the translator matrix, broadcasting directly in the coalition's mathematical language. The message wasn't designed as an attack, but as a demonstration, highlighting humans' unique capacity for lateral thinking. Your warning classified us by our weapons, she explained. Your error was fundamental. Humanity's strength isn't destructive capability, but creative synthesis. The crystalline vessels shifted position, energy signatures fluctuating as their systems processed the unprecedented situation. They possessed overwhelming firepower, but suddenly faced an enemy operating outside their comprehension framework. Aboard the command vessel, coalition representatives from 8 ancient species debated furiously. Their communications, intercepted and partially translated by Project Lighthouse, revealed growing division. The oldest members demanded immediate action. Younger species expressed intrigued hesitation. "We don't seek conflict," Rice continued. "Project Lighthouse isn't a weapon but a proof of concept. We've shown we can engage with your technology on equal terms despite our primitive development stage." The demonstration continued as coalition scanning attempts encountered increasingly sophisticated countermeasures. Each probe met a unique response, never the same defense twice. The unpredictability they feared became the very quality preventing hostile action. Dr. Zhao analyzed incoming data, detecting subtle changes in communication patterns between coalition vessels. "They're arguing," she informed Reyes quietly. "Some are reconsidering the classification." Nexus Paradigm's light form dimmed momentarily, then brightened with new intensity. When it spoke again, its mental voice carried unmistakable undertones of what humans might recognize as respect. "The Coalition requests clarification of intentions," it stated formally. "Your species has demonstrated unexpected capabilities." Reyes smiled slightly. "We're prepared to offer an alternative to your ultimatum. Earth is ready to negotiate." The negotiations began aboard the largest coalition vessel, a crystalline structure with interior spaces that shifted according to mathematical principles humans could barely comprehend. Admiral Reyes and Dr. Zhao led Earth's delegation, accompanied by a carefully selected team representing humanity's diversity of thought and expertise. Project Lighthouse remained active, a constant reminder of humanity's unexpected capabilities. Inside the alien vessel, the full Coalition Council revealed itself, representatives from 8 distinct species, each more alien than the last. The eldest members appeared as patterns of pure energy, evolved beyond physical form eons ago. The youngest resembled crystalline arthropods, their thought processes still partly bound to material brains. "Your demonstration has complicated consensus," Nexus Paradigm admitted, serving as translator between humans and Council. "The classification parameters are under review." Dr. Zhao's neural interface displayed real-time analysis of the Council's internal communications. Her team had expected division, but not its extent. 3 of the 8 species advocated immediate reclassification of humanity, while 2 remained firmly committed to containment. The remaining 3 appeared genuinely uncertain. "We propose an unprecedented arrangement," Zhao stated, transmitting complex mathematical models through her interface. "Humanity offers to share our unique creative problem-solving approaches in exchange for technological guidance that ensures safer development." The council chamber erupted with overlapping communication patterns, a cacophony of mathematical arguments beyond human comprehension. One energy being pulsed with patterns that translator algorithms interpreted as outrage. "Impossible," it projected. 17 prior civilizations reached similar development stages. All either destroyed themselves or required intervention. The patterns are absolute. A younger council member, one of the crystalline arthropods, counter-signaled. Yet none demonstrated adaptation capabilities comparable to humanity. Their defense system reconfigures faster than our analysis can track. This suggests fundamental differences. Admiral Reyes leaned forward. "With respect, that's precisely our point. Your models failed because they measured us by standards developed for fundamentally different evolutionary paths." Dr. Zhao activated the final component of their presentation, a demonstration of human history compressed into visual algorithms the Coalition could process. It showed humanity's countless near extinctions and subsequent adaptations, from ice ages to nuclear brinkmanship, highlighting the species' remarkable resilience. "We've faced our own potential extinction 97 documented times," she explained. "Each crisis forced adaptation and synthesis of new solutions. What you classify as dangerous unpredictability, we recognize as essential evolutionary strategy." The Council's deliberations intensified. Intercepted communications revealed the Coalition's fragile unity fracturing further. Younger species expressed growing fascination with humanity's approach, while ancient members maintained rigid opposition based on mathematical principles they considered inviolable. The arrangement is conceptually novel. Nexus paradigm finally acknowledge. A provisional category might be created for evaluation purposes. This represented significant concession, the first time in the Coalition's vast history that its classification system admitted exception. The diplomatic breakthrough emerged not from human military might, but from demonstrating the very unpredictability the Coalition feared. As negotiations progressed, Earth's representatives increasingly recognized the profound truth. The Coalition's fear stemmed from fundamental incomprehension. They couldn't predict humans because humans themselves embraced uncertainty as a feature rather than a flaw. To demonstrate our commitment, Rise propose, we invite Coalition observation of human problem-solving through a series of challenges. Let us show you how we think. The Council conferred briefly before responding. Accepted. The trials will begin immediately. The Coalition trials began as a series of impossible challenges, problems specifically designed to prove humanity's limitations or demonstrate its danger. A massive holographic display dominated the central chamber of the Geneva complex, where representatives from every nation gathered to witness the tests. Coalition observers monitored everything, their incomprehensible sensory apparatus measuring not just success or failure, but the very processes of human thought. The first trial concerns dimensional mathematics, Nexus paradigm announced. This puzzle has required an average of 2.7 centuries for technological species to solve. The display filled with 11-dimensional equations that shifted between states of possibility. Earth's greatest mathematicians stared in bewilderment at concepts beyond current human understanding. Then Dr. Adebayo Okonkwo, a mathematician from Lagos University, stepped forward. Rather than attacking the equations directly, he recruited 20 local children and arranged them in a playground game from his youth. The solution isn't about calculation, but pattern recognition, he explained as the children's movements created emergent geometries. These playground games have utilized similar spatial principles for generations. The children's game, translated into mathematical notation, provided an intuitive solution that bypassed centuries of calculation. The Coalition observers registered the equivalent of stunned silence. 3 more trials followed, each designed to be progressively more difficult, yet each met with uniquely human approaches. For an artificial star stabilization problem, Chinese and American engineers collaborated to implement principles derived from jazz music, improvisation within structure, creating feedback systems that adapted moment by moment. The solution arrived in hours rather than the projected decades. Unprecedented methodology, a Coalition member noted. They treat physics as conversation rather than dictation. The penultimate challenge involved ethical calculation matrices, extraordinarily complex moral dilemmas intended to reveal humanity's ethical limitations. The Coalition expected failure or dangerously simplified solutions. Instead, Earth submitted 7 different answers from 7 philosophical traditions, collectively demonstrating that humans regarded ethical complexity as intrinsic rather than problematic. The Coalition's rigid classification systems struggled to process this multiplicity of valid responses. With each success, more Coalition species shifted toward accepting humanity. The final challenge revealed their deepest fear. Humans could conceptualize solutions that their creators could not predict. The harmony paradox, Nexus paradigm announced with ceremonial gravity. No species has solved this without achieving post-physical evolution. The paradox involved reconciling fundamentally opposed states of existence, a problem that had divided the Coalition for millennia. Earth's team studied it for a single day before Dr. Zhao recognized its true nature. This isn't a scientific problem, she told the assembled representatives. It's a philosophical one masquerading as mathematics. Earth's solution came not from physics but from poetry, specifically from ancient Eastern philosophical traditions that embraced paradox rather than resolving it. The solution demonstrated that holding contradictory truths simultaneously represented not failure but transcendence. As the final trial concluded, the Coalition Council convened an emergency session. Their deliberations, though private, radiated such intense mathematical patterns that sensitive equipment throughout Geneva registered the discord. After 3 hours, Nexus Paradigm reappeared before the human delegation. "The trials are complete," it announced. "Humanity has demonstrated capacities beyond all prediction matrices. The Coalition has reached a new consensus." Admiral Reyes and Dr. Zhao exchanged glances. "And this consensus is?" Reyes prompted. "Earth will be offered provisional membership in Galactic Society," Nexus Paradigm stated, "under terms unprecedented in Coalition history." 1 year after first contact, Earth's provisional membership in Galactic Society transformed both humanity and the Coalition. The crystalline vessels now orbiting Earth no longer represented threats but embassies and cultural exchanges. Carefully selected human delegations ventured to Coalition worlds, while alien representatives established outposts in major cities. The skies above Earth shimmered with technologies beyond human comprehension, yet increasingly influenced by human innovation. Admiral Reyes stood on the observation deck of the Prometheus *, humanity's first diplomatic vessel incorporating Coalition technology. The ship represented unprecedented collaboration. Fusion power cores provided by the energy beings of Ceti Alpha, navigation systems from the crystalline arthropods of Tau Ceti, all integrated with interfaces designed by human engineers. "Final preparations complete," his executive officer reported. "Departure for Coalition Central Hub authorized in 30 minutes. Reyes nodded, watching Earth recede in the view screen. The planet looked different now. Orbital platforms and transfer stations forming an intricate network around the once isolated world. Project Lighthouse, initially conceived as defense, had evolved into humanity's first interstellar communication array. In Geneva, Dr. Zhao presided over the newly established Convergent Cognition Institute, where representatives from 17 Coalition species studied human creativity alongside human scientists exploring advanced ethical frameworks. Her neural interface had been enhanced with Coalition technology, allowing her to perceive mathematical dimensions previously inaccessible to human consciousness. The fourth cohort of human ambassadors has successfully integrated with the Council observation protocols, her assistant reported. Unexpected benefit. 3 Coalition species have adopted human linguistic structures to enhance their conceptual flexibility. Zhao smiled, reviewing the latest adaptation metrics. Coalition species learning from humans just as humans learned from them. A symbiotic exchange neither side had anticipated. The institutional resistance remained strongest among the eldest Coalition members, but even they acknowledged the unexpected benefits of incorporating human perspectives. "The final classification report has been submitted," she noted, scanning the document. "Humanity's official designation has been changed from extinction-level innovator to catalytic synthesis species, the first new classification added to Coalition taxonomy in 12,000 years. Across Earth, the integration continued at varying paces. Some nations embraced the alien technologies eagerly, others proceeded with thoughtful caution. The Coalition learned to respect this diversity of approaches rather than expecting uniform adoption. Humanity, in turn, gained appreciation for the stability that had allowed the Coalition's ancient civilizations to survive for millions of years. Aboard the Prometheus *, Admiral Reyes addressed the mixed crew of humans and Coalition representatives before their historic journey. "1 year ago, the galaxy delivered its warning," he began. "They called us dangerous because we developed technologies faster than our ethics. They weren't entirely wrong." He gestured toward the view screen, where Earth and its new orbital structures gleamed against the blackness of space. "But they overlooked something essential. Our ethics evolve precisely because they're tested. Our strength isn't that we avoid mistakes, but that we learn from them. Our unpredictability isn't a flaw, but an adaptation to an uncertain universe." The ship's engines hummed as final launch preparations completed. Around Reyes, humans worked alongside alien colleagues, their differences creating not conflict but synthesis. The galaxy gave warnings, he concluded. Earth delivered its answer, not through weapons or surrender, but by turning uncertainty into opportunity. Now together, we face the greatest adventure of all, becoming something neither humanity nor the Coalition could have imagined alone. The Prometheus departed Earth orbit, carrying humanity's representatives toward their place in a cosmos suddenly bright with possibility.